Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel, and we are back with a GT Sport FIA Nations 2020 series strategy guide. And after a break of a couple of rounds, we are back with round 13, Dragon Trail Seaside 2, and it is Group 4 machinery. So here is the settings on the screen for this one. As I said, Dragon Trail Seaside 2, 15 laps to get round, tyre wear at ×5, fuel consumption at ×4, both the racing medium and the racing hard tyre available, and we'll scroll down to the tyre requirements and we can see that the hard tyre is mandatory for this one. Now before we get stuck into the strategy proper, let's get a couple of items out of the way, and first up is the fuel consumption for this one. Fuel is at ×4. Had a funny feeling that would be a little bit too high to sort of get around 15 laps of Dragon Trail Seaside without fuel saving, and it does kind of prove to be the case. So driving flat out, most of the Group 4 cars tend to fall in between about 10 to 11 laps. So there is going to be some fuel saving required for this one. I would definitely recommend getting the fuel saved during the race and not taking it on at the pit stop. I definitely think that's the quicker way to do it. But let's take a look at the pit loss while we're here. So into the pit lane we come. We're just going to change the tyres here obviously. As I said, I would recommend for this race not taking any fuel on and get the fuel saved during the race, but for tyres only the pit loss comes in at 8.6 seconds. So now we've got those two things out of the way, we know the pit loss, we know we're going to have to save fuel. Let's get stuck into looking at the strategy proper. Now again, before we do that, I'm just going to say something briefly. If this video feels kind of hastily put together, then you are correct. I'm a bit short on time at the moment with the schedule of the races coming up and my work commitments, so I'm having to put these videos together fairly quickly, but I do like to get them out. Even I'd rather get a not so good quality video out than no video at all for the race. And as I said, when we went through the schedule video, this was one of the races that I said I was going to cover, so I did want to honour that statement. So here we are. Now when I think of fuel saving in Group 4, the first car that I tend to turn to, or my default car for fuel saving, is the Citroen. It's very good at saving fuel and maintaining its pace, so that's why I think this car could be quite strong for this combination. So that's the car we've chosen for this initial run, and the first thing we're going to look at is the sort of medium tyre longevity. Now, as I said, I didn't have a whole lot of time to put full race runs together, so in this run I just got myself quickly up to speed, and then I was just going to run the medium tyre for as long as I felt the pace was strong enough. I did think it maybe come in around about 8 or 9 laps, but as you're about to see, we're coming to sort of end of lap 8 here, and we're still setting purple sectors. Now of course we are saving fuel, so that does tend to help save the tyres a little bit as well. Short shifting around about 50% on the bar in the Citroen seemed to be able to get the fuel under control nicely to sort of make sure we could get 15 laps out the tank. But as I said, the medium tyres just kept holding up, and we're actually on to lap 12 and we're still on the same set of tyres. Lapping less than a second off our best lap even at this point. In fact, I think we're only about 6 to 7 tenths off our best lap even at this point. But we are going to sort of go on to lap 13 on these tyres. You can see we're still in the 48s. Our best lap I think was a 48.3. We've got the fuel under control, and I probably felt I could have done sort of lap right up till lap 14 and then just done one lap on the hard tyres, but I did decide to pit at the end of lap 13 because I wanted to do the last lap on the hard tyres and just get an idea of the pace of them to see if I've maybe left it too late to change over. Maybe the hard tyre pace would surprise me. So moving on to the end of lap 13 here, we're going to come in for that pit stop, change on to the hard tyres. We'll do an outlap on the hard tyres, and then we should be able to get a representative lap on the hards just to see what kind of pace they're capable of at the end of the race with no fuel in the car. Now if I'm able to do a sort of mid 48 on the hard tyres, and it suggests that I should probably have changed tyres earlier. But if I'm not able to get into the 48s, then it does look like sort of staying out in the medium tyres until when we did, it would have been the correct choice. So here is the result of that single flying lap on the hard tyres that we were able to do at the end of this run. Now to be honest with you, it was a pretty scrappy lap and probably should have been 3-4 tenths quicker than what it was. Comes in at a 49.2 Probably shouldn't have been a 48.8, but that would only have been a tenth quicker than the laps we were doing on the medium tyres after 11-12 laps. So it does look like he would be staying on those medium tyres till at least lap 10-11 and probably longer than that. So after we completed that run, we did head out on the hard tyres just to get an idea of the hard tyre pace with the full fuel load, and see if a no stop would be viable. But we were coming in about a second a lap slower, so we're going to lose a lot more on the hard tyres just pace wise than you would for a pit stop. So I'm going to rule out the no stop for this one, except for the absolute starting right at the back and just sort of trying something different. But it's certainly nowhere near as competitive as the one stop by the looks of it. Now you may be asking, why have we not sort of done anything with the RCZ? Well, I'm about to answer that question now. Of course, the RCZ is dominating the leaderboards, so you may well be tempted to take that out in the race. Now most people do know that FF cars, which the RCZ Group 4 is, tend to wear out those front tyres a lot more than any other drivetrain, and so probably not going to be a great car for the race. But for those that don't, this is kind of what happens with the FF cars, which is the RCZ, the Audi TT, the Scirocco and the Renault Megane Group 4 car, not to be mistaken with the Group 4 Trophy. So this was our test here on with the Peugeot. Now I did expect the sort of result of this to be a little bit worse than what it's turned out. So we are doing the fuel saving in the Peugeot as well. It seems to be more than capable of stretching the fuel out for the 15 laps. Now I did expect the RCZ in terms of lap time to be a lot quicker than the Citroen, particularly over the opening laps while the tyres were still in good shape. But it's not really kind of transpired that way, with the lap times actually being very similar. So it's possible I'm just not driving it very well, but I think it's more likely that the Peugeot is just not as good at maintaining pace while fuel saving compared to the Citroen. However, despite the front tyres starting to show a good bit of wear, the lap times did actually hold up better than I was expecting. Unfortunately, my run was to be ruined by the AI car that you can see ahead, and so I actually abandoned the run after this lap. But we're on to lap 7 and we're still sort of able to sort of set very consistent lap times as to what we were on sort of laps 3 and 4. So I don't think you'll be able to go to laps 11 and 12 like you can with like the MR cars, but I think it's definitely capable of being competitive in the race. Possibly maybe sort of going on to about lap 9 and then changing to the hard tyres. So that's been a very brief look at some elements of this race. Just to recap at what we looked at, fuel is obviously a bit of or certainly comes into play in this one. I would recommend saving the fuel during the race. I just find that's always much quicker than sort of adding 2, 3, 4 seconds onto your pit stop, and it's not too difficult if you're in the right car, that is, to sort of stretch the fuel out to the 15 laps. So cars that are good in fuel like the Citroen, it should be something you maybe want to consider. We took a look at the hard tyre pace compared to the medium tyre pace. In my opinion, the hard tyres are too slow compared to the medium tyres to make the no stop a competitive strategy. I think you'll lose a lot more time just through the pace of the tyres compared to you'd lose in a pit stop. So it very much does look like a one stopper. We never actually got a chance to check anything out like the two stop, but again I think the tyre wear being so low and the pit lane loss being as high as it is would mean that you maybe gain 3, 4, 5 seconds at a pushback with the second stop, but then you've also got the added worry and concern of traffic and that kind of strategy. So I think it does very much come down to a one stop. Now in the Citroen we were able to kind of stretch those medium tyres out easily to lap 10, 11, and I do feel that I could have got to lap 14 and just done the single lap on the hard tyre with the Citroen. I think that will be sort of the case for most of the MR cars out there, and a similar story for the FR cars. As for the FF cars, the front wheel drive cars, I don't think you're going to be getting that much kind of durability out of the mediums. I think you're looking at lap 8, 9 or 10, or 8, 9 or 10 laps for the mediums, and then maybe 5 laps on the hard tyres. Okay, that wraps my thoughts up for this one. Hopefully there's been some useful and helpful information in there to help you get prepared for this race. Again, I do apologise for it being very hastily put together. That just couldn't be helped at this time. We will be back for round 15, possibly for the Nations Championship, but definitely round 16. Hope you can join me for that one. We will have the FIA Manufacturers 2020 Series round 13 guide out tomorrow at Willow Springs, so hope you can also join me for that one. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, please hit that like button, please hit the subscribe button. It's all appreciated. And until the next video, goodbye and good luck. Cheerio now, bye bye.